Hello and welcome back to What It Feels Like. We'll be continuing where we left off, which if you recall is after meeting Baxter and then getting a little taste of what's going on with Mylo and Jacob. And yeah, it's not pretty. It is not a healthy relationship, if it could even be called that. But yeah, so hopefully with what's coming up next, which is the auditions, they'll be able to find a guitarist. It'll be somebody that they can get along with. But yeah. So let's see what else. Well, I guess what comes up next is more or less the reason why I decide that this story is really worth me sharing it with you guys, I guess. But yeah. Anywho, so without further ado, let's continue What It Feels Like. 7 o'clock comes by quicker than I anticipated. I guess time is just like that, always creeping on me. Despite their worries, I'm actually the very first one at the bar, seated in the usual booth, watching the empty stage at the far end of the bar, wishing that we were there tonight. I really do miss performing. It's pretty much the only time that I can really unwind, let out all my frustrations and other not-so-happy emotions, and leave them all on stage. That's what singing is for me, therapy essentially. Alone tonight? I spin around and look at the bartender in the eye, an old friend by now. Nah, Liz and Wyatt will be here. I'm just early for once. That's a surprise. What's the occasion? I can be early and not have it be a huge thing. Can't it just be normal that I am on time for things? Well, sure. Maybe on time, but early? Go suck a lemon, old man. Desmond is the bartender here at Arnie's, and if it weren't for Jacob, I would have been head over heels for him. He's drop-dead gorgeous, and I think that he knows that I see him that way, but considering he's engaged and at least 10 years older than me, I don't think that we'll be hooking up anytime soon. The age gap doesn't bother me, but if he were single, well... Alright. Do you want anything? Nah, don't have the money. I eye him up flirtatiously, batting my eyelashes. Unless you want to give me a free drink? Yeah, not tonight, pal. Worth a shot. He chuckles and shakes his head, walking away to attend to the other customers. Oh well, maybe in some other life. Did you know that he's engaged, right? I feel Liz's hand clapped my shoulder, leaning in to whisper the obvious into my ear, and I quickly swat her away. Ugh, don't remind me. He's also way too old for you. He's 30. 32. That's what, 11 years? When we're old and senile, it'll seem like nothing. Sometimes I worry about you, Mylo. She pats my back comfortingly as Wyatt takes a seat next to me, trying to get Dee's attention. But I'm glad you're here early. I don't know why you think that I wouldn't have come. Well, you have been kind of all over the place these past few weeks. How so? Oh, just off, I guess. You'd been a little spaced out. What, more than the usual? Deez rejoins us, and now I've become the center of everyone's criticism. You guys are embarrassing me in front of my future husband. I'll let you be the ring bearer at my actual wedding. How about that? I sigh. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Alright, on to the actual important matters. The audition. You guys still haven't found a guitarist? Come on, Ashland has to have at least some capable musicians. None willing to join our band. I'll be surprised if anyone actually comes today. Liz elbows me in the ribs, frowning. Don't be so pessimistic. We have gotten people wanting to join, but either their schedules don't align with ours or they're just too amateurish to learn our songs. There's also a secret third reason, which is that we don't let someone join if we don't think that we like them. Preemptive? Maybe. But we all unanimously agree that we have to get along with our new member if you want this to work out long term. Once we had a middle-aged man with a bunch of Scientology stickers on his truck try and join our band. It was a unanimous no. Well, let's hope that you find someone good tonight. Maybe we will. He takes a swig of his beer while we all turn to look at him. What? Since when are you an optimistic? He just shrugs. Just a feeling. Sounds ominous. In any case, good luck, you guys. Arnie says that you can head back to the lounge whenever you're ready. With a sigh, Liz loudly snaps her own thighs and gets up, flipping her hair behind her back. Alright then, let's head back over there now. The next hour goes by in a slow, agonizingly bored blur. We practice some songs, have some drinks, lounge around, and not one person shows up. I sort of figured the night would have played out like this. Despite my highest hopes, it's our 4th time holding an audition, and each time less and less people show up. It was only a matter of time until they just stopped coming, and unfortunately for me, that time has come now. A couple of minutes before our hour is over, I get a text from Jacob asking me if I'll come over tonight. Even though I don't have his name saved on my phone, as per his request, I automatically know it's him. No one else would text me this late, and besides, I have his number committed to memory at this point. I text back a quick yes when Liz pipes up. Who you texting? It's not an accusatory question. In fact, I'm pretty sure that she's asking because she just is as bored as I am, and yet I can't help but feel defensive. My mom. She's wondering if I'll be home for dinner. The lie slips out easily. The unfortunate thing about lying so much is that it does, in fact, get easier the more you do it. Well, tell her that you will. I don't think anyone's coming. Yeah. I click my phone off and sigh, looking up at the ceiling. What do we do? What can we do? It's been a month and we haven't been able to find anyone. Do you think it's time that we... No, not yet. Not ever. I'm just saying, we can't keep doing this forever. I know, but... Let's just give it a bit more time. Couldn't hurt to wait. It sure hurts me, sitting here on a perfectly good Wednesday doing nothing. Could have been doing nothing anyway. Yeah, but at least I'd be home doing nothing. Does it matter? Of course it does. Do you think that I wouldn't... The sound of the lounge door opening makes all of us shut up and sit straight. My heart started beating a bit faster. This could mean one of two things. Either Arnie's come back here to tell us to piss off, or we're getting an audition. The door opens up a crack, and in from the light of the bar steps in a familiar, cheeky cheetah, much to my surprise. Hi? Baxter? He smiles when he sees me, though it's not his usual grin. This one might be a bit shyer. Hey, Russo. Glad to see you here. He closes the door behind him, and now I can clearly see that he has a guitar pouch slung over his right shoulder, and it doesn't take a genius to connect the dots. You're auditioning? Yeah, something like that. He gives a small wave to, well, all three of us, that comes out looking more like a salute, if I'm honest. Hey, Wyatt, and girl that I don't know yet. I'm Lizzie. Nice to meet you. She gives him her best customer service smile, perfected from her years working as a cashier, and Baxter returns it with a smile of his own. Likewise. You didn't tell me that you played guitar. He turns to me as a smile turns into a grin, and I can slowly see his confidence regaining somewhat. Well, Russo, shocker, but you never asked. This guy did, though. How's it going, Wyatt? By the way, Wyatt's already up and greeting Baxter, doing the clap handshake guys tend to do. Not bad. Glad you actually made it. Well, you did ask me to come. Would have been kind of rude if I didn't. I look up at Wyatt, and even though I can't see his eyes, I swear he's probably giving me a stupidly smug look. So that's what the phone call was about. I should have known that he was up to something. So you guys know each other? Sorta. Wyatt's friends with my roommate, and I just met Russo today. Formally anyway. Oh, so you go to our college? Even better then. She stands up and quickly starts explaining everything about our band and audition, while I stay sitting there trying to make sense of all of this. Not once or twice, but 3 times I've had to talk to Baxter in a single day. What are the odds? I mean, sure, I was the one at the gym the second time, and I came up to talk to him, so technically that one's on me, but now? Just how much more of this guy am I gonna have to endure? He glances at me and I realize that I've been glaring daggers at him the whole time. Lizzie's been talking to him, so I quickly soften my gaze and look away. Still, through the corner of my eye, I can tell that he still has the big grin plastered on his face, and I can't help but feel embarrassed about it. So yeah, just play any song, doesn't matter the genre, we're more judging the guitar skills. Got it. Lizzie and Wyatt join me on the couch, while Baxter stands in the middle and sets up his guitar. Lizzie leans close and starts whispering to me. Russo, huh? He insisted on it. I bet. What do you think of him? He seems okay. Maybe a bit too cocky for my liking. Cockiness is fine, right? I think that he could totally be your type. I roll my eyes. Baxter is far from my type. He's too stocky, too arrogant, definitely too outgoing. Honestly, he could be Jacob's exact opposite. I wouldn't hold my breath. Ready? Wyatt's low, booming voice interrupts our soft whispers, and we both turn our attention to Baxter, now dead center in the room, with his guitar in hand. Pretty much. Alright then. Baxter pauses for a second looking at Wyatt, then Liz, and finally his eyes land on mine, holding the stare for a bit longer than he did with my other bandmates. He smiles, a genuine one this time, almost as if asking for my permission to start. Despite how defensive I get with Baxter, the fact that if anyone's trying out, especially someone that I know, has definitely done wonders for my mood, so I return his smile wholeheartedly. And only then does he start to play. He starts playing a tune that I don't recognize. Maybe it's something entirely his own. He plucks the strings, his eyes down and focused on the notes he's playing. It's a soft, relaxing melody, and although I can tell by the way that he plays that he might not be a long-time guitar player, he's definitely not bad. His face is scrunched in concentration, moving his fingers from one chord to the next in quick, brisk movements. He's a bit nervous, and it's apparent by how choppy some notes change sound. I never thought that I'd see him like this, so focused, so unsure. He's always so confident and carefree in an almost unbelievable way. I guess everyone has lots of sides to them. He finally finishes a song, and when he does, he gives the body a little tap and looks up at us, smiling again. Well, that's all I got. Unless you needed more? No, pretty sure that's enough. She turns to look at Wyatt, then at me, her eyebrows raised as if saying, well, I think he's good. Needs a bit of practice, but nothing that we can't work on together. Yeah, definitely. You can help him learn the songs. I'm sure that it won't take much time. They both look at me now, and I realize they're waiting for my approval. We all have to approve of Baxter. That's our unspoken rule. So now the decision lies squarely on my shoulders. I glance at Baxter. He's definitely good, but am I ready to be around him this much? I feel like it's a risk bringing Baxter so close to my personal life. Guys like him always hide a part of themselves. I should know. But if it can get me one step closer to my dream, and if he could help me get to it faster, then it's a risk that I'm willing to take. I think he did great. If you two agree, then I think he should join. Their faces light up, and with a jump out of her chair, Lizzie claps in excitement. Then it's settled. Welcome to the band, Baxter. It's a little scary how quickly things change. One minute we're bored and hopeless, and the next some cheetah with blonde highlights comes in and joins our band. But I can't say that I'm happy about it. After all, the promise of performing again makes me so giddy. I honestly don't care that Baxter spends the remainder of the night with his arm slung around my shoulder. Eventually, though, it's time to leave, and when we step outside, the moon is high up in the sky, its crescent shape gleaming down at us. It just makes me more excited. Soon, I'll be in his arms. Well then, now that everything is settled, we'll meet at Wyatt's place on Saturday for practice. We'll text you the address, Bax. Sounds good. You need a ride home? We can take you. Oh, nah, I got my bike. Alright, well, we'll be seeing you then. Come on, Mylo. I start to make my way to the backseat of Wyatt's car when Baxter grabs my arm. Wait, I kinda wanna talk to Russo for a sec. Is that okay? I kinda need the ride home. I can take you. He flashes me his most charming smile, and I look over at Wyatt and Liz, hoping that they'll save me. Hey, it's your gas money. It sounds important anyway. They wave goodbye at me, Liz giving me a teasing look, and I stand there, jaw open in horror. This guy could be a serial killer for all they know, and they're leaving me alone with him? If I show up dead in Baxter's basement, they better not shed a tear at my funeral. And without another word, they clamber onto Wyatt's car and drive off, leaving Baxter and I alone. So... you're gonna take me home on a bike? Motorbike. Do you have an extra helmet? I'll just give you mine. That's illegal, you know. And I'll be the one to get a fine, not you. Come on, stop being so stubborn. Fine. What is it that you wanted to talk about then? I'll tell you when we get there. He ushers me on his bike, a red, rusty old thing, and when he sees my face as he's handing me his helmet, he lets out a loud laugh. What's funny? It runs fine, Russo. You don't have to look so terrified. What year was this even made? 2000, I think. That's at least 2 decades old. Yeah, so are we, and we're still kicking. He nudges me with his elbow and gets on the bike, and with mild reluctance I put on the helmet and place myself behind him on the seat. Ever been on one of these before? Nope. Yeah, I can tell. You can hold on to me, you know. My hands are firmly gripping the handle on the back of the seat, and I shake my head. I'm good. You know, if we're gonna be spending time together, you might as well get used to being around me. What better way than some skinship? Are you always this flirty? Pretty much. Is that a bad thing? It'll take some getting used to. He just grins and turns to face forward, and with a kick, the bike purrs to life. Looking forward to that then. And with the rev of the engine, we speed away into the street. The ride home is treacherous, to say the least. Not even a minute after he starts driving, I let go of the handles and hug his body close to mine for stability, because this guy drives like a fucking maniac. It takes a lot of shouting directions and brisk turns to finally reach the front of my house, and when we come to a stop, Baxter has to pat my hands to make me pry myself off of him. Damn, what a grip. Didn't want to let go? I take the helmet off and practically throw it at him, out of breath despite sitting down the whole time. I am never getting on your bike again. Ha! Oh, come on, was it that bad? Yes. Why do you drive so fast? These streets are always empty. Besides, I'm a great driver. I beg to differ. My apologies then, my liege. Ugh. I adjust my jacket trying to calm down a bit, and when I turn back to him, he's leaning coolly on his bike, arms crossed, staring right at me. Yeah, no doubt about it. Baxter makes me nervous, whether it's because he's so extroverted or the fact that a teeny, tiny part of me finds him alluring, I couldn't say for sure. But having him look at me like he's trying to figure me out makes me want to run and hide for cover. Thanks for the ride? My pleasure. So what was so important that you had to drive me home in that hell on wheels? I wanted to ask you something. And I hope that you don't take it the wrong way. I know that we just met, but I really wanted to ask you this. My heart skips a beat and I suck in a breath, crossing my arms to mirror his position. That sounds kind of serious. A little. Are you dating Jacob's song? Sorry? Are you dating Jacob's song? He asks it again, a bit sterner, staring deeper into my soul than ever before. What? Why do you want to know that? I've just seen the way that he looks at you. Or, well, I see the way that he tries not to look at you. And I've noticed you at practice a lot. I didn't recognize you from up close earlier today, but I know that you're usually there, watching. Shame and embarrassment spreads across my face in an instant, and I look away from him, hoping that he'll stop looking at me like that. I'm not some kind of creep, okay? I just... I didn't say that. I don't think that, for the record. I can tell that you're embarrassed about it, and I'm trying to figure out why. You're there for him, aren't you? Why are you asking me this? Because I'm curious. And because, well, I want to know how similar your situation is with mine. I look back up at him, those dark red eyes never leaving my face. Yours? He nods. Well, I guess I can't really question you if you don't know about me. There's a girl that I like, Dahlia. You might know her. Her name rings a bell, but no one I personally know. Anyway, she and I have a thing. Sort of. It's pretty complicated. He shoves his hands into his pockets and looks away, down the dark sidewalk. I thought that we really hit it off. We went on dates, hung out together a lot. It was practically perfect. When I finally asked her out, she said that she wasn't ready. Said that she's not interested in dating. Just not something that she wants to do right now. I thought that it'd be the end of it. If it was, I would have moved on pretty easily. But it wasn't. She kept hanging around me, talking to me, treating me like she was really interested in taking things further with me. She tells me that she likes me like that, but she doesn't want to commit anything, and maybe I get it, but man, I wish she did. So that's my situation, and from what I've heard, it might be yours too. Heard from who? He shrugs. No one specific. The guys on the team ask Jacob about you, like you guys are old friends. So... Jacob was our old band member. He left about a month ago. That's how we know each other. I figured that it was something like that. So, what is he to you? Jacob and I aren't anything yet. I saw the horror turning to look at the sidewalk he was glancing at moments before. He doesn't want people to know that he's that. He likes guys. That he likes me. We just hang out for now. So it is like me and Dahlia. I shrug. Maybe. You're not gonna tell anyone, are you? About Jacob liking dudes? No, of course not. Not my place. Plus, I don't really care. Okay. Good. Alright. I didn't just make you confess that for the hell of it. There's a second part to this question. Oh. He stops leaning on his bike and steps over to me, standing a few inches in front of me, staring down at my face. You sure like eye contact? He grins. Do I make you nervous, Russo? No, you just don't know what personal space is. Yeah, I gotta work on that. He takes a small, insignificant step back, still looking at me. Go out with me. What? Yeah, go out with me. Be my boyfriend. That kind of thing. What? Why are you... Think about it. What if we both completely moved on from them, Dahlia and Jacob? What if suddenly we both found someone else, someone better? Wouldn't that drive them nuts? I bet Jacob's the jealous type. What would he do if the guy who's in love with him suddenly found a hunk way cooler than him? First of all, you're not cooler than Jacob. Second, why do you think that Jacob's a jealous type? Honestly, it's just a hunch. So, you're asking me to date you to make our situationships jealous, so that we can then what? When they get jealous, they're gonna have to fight for us. Dahlia thinks that I'm wrapped around her finger, and well, maybe I am. But what if I wasn't? Wouldn't that bother the hell out of her? Wouldn't it bother the hell out of him? He's closer now, the idea getting him more excited the more he talks. It would make them want us, really seriously want us. After all, no one really appreciates what they have until they lose it. So let's make them experience that. Let's make them lose us. Don't you think that it's about time something changed? Alright, yeah, I came off a bit too strong. He takes a couple of steps back this time, an embarrassed look on his face. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's a big step, a big change. And yeah, we barely know each other. But I figured that since we're going to be together more often now, but I understand if faking this isn't your kind of thing. He hops onto his bike and puts his helmet on, lifting the visor to smile at me. Hope things aren't awkward between us though. Honestly, either way, I'm looking forward to being your friend. You're a really weird guy, Baxter. You know that? Yeah. He closes the visor and gives me a cute little wave, and as quickly as it was for us to get here, he drives off, disappearing into the darkness of the street. My thoughts are going a million miles a minute when I close the door behind me once I'm safely inside my home. Today has been wild. I mean, in one day I've been tasked with doing an important presentation, found the guitarist for my band, and practically got asked out, even if it was for ulterior reasons. All in 24 hours, and all linked back to one guy. Baxter Abernathy. I should have known the second that he smiled at me like that, I was in for more than I expected. Honey, is that you? My mom calls out from the kitchen as I'm walking up the stairs, and I hear her making her way towards me. Yeah, Mom, it's me. You should have called if you were going to be late. I had the band thing today, remember? My point still stands? Okay, I'm sorry. Next time. And are you going to have dinner? I told you this morning that I was going to make us something. I'm not really hungry. I'm just going to go to bed. Mylo, you have to eat. I sigh, frustrated. The only thing on my mind now is getting to Jacob's place as soon as I can, and she's wasting my time. I will. Just not tonight. Can you at least make an effort to have dinner with your dad and me soon? It's like we never see you these days. Sure, yeah. Listen, Mom, I'm really tired right now. Can we talk about this some other time? Sure, honey. Go get some rest. Thank you. Good night. Night, Mom. I rush up the stairs, and before she can try and stop me again, I quickly go to my room and lock the door behind me. I shower, I clean myself everywhere, making sure that I smell nice for when I inevitably get undressed by him. I make sure that I look my best, brushing my fur in soft and even strokes. After such a long, exhausting day, I can't say that I didn't want to just hop in bed and sleep for the 8 hours that I desperately need for cognitive function. But this is my only chance, the only time of the day that I can see Jacob without any repercussions, no teammates, no friends, no outsiders to look and judge. Just 4 walls, me and Jacob. I don't know when I started escaping from the window, somewhere in between not wanting to wait for my mom to go to bed and not wanting to get caught if Dad comes home late. But it's a fairly easy climb down, considering how slanted the roof is, and in no time at all, I'm back outside, making sure that I can't be seen from any windows as I make my way out onto the sidewalk. Despite my fatigue, all in all, I'm in an excited mood once I'm well on my way to Jacob's place. I found a new band member. I won't be failing finance, and best of all, in less than half an hour, I'll be in Jacob's arms, soaking in his affection. The 15-minute walk feels shorter today. Much to my pleasure, the moon is shrouded by dark, gray clouds, but I'll be sure to see it when I make my way back home. Tonight, there is no man smoking in the steps. Tonight, there are no eyes to see me walk in or out of Jacob's home. Tonight, it's just me and him. I reach the door. 7. I knock once, and when I hear the shuffling behind the door, my heart skips giddily. It opens, and in the darkness, there he is, shirtless, with that tired look he can only make look effortlessly sexy. Hi. Did anyone see you? No. Okay. He opens the door just a crack more, and I eagerly squeeze inside his little apartment. The room seems brighter tonight. He walks past me to the couch and falls on it with a sigh, much like he always does. I almost skip over to him, sitting down close, not leaving much space between us. It's better not to waste time. You look happy. I smile at him. Maybe. I'm just in a good mood. Yeah? Why? No reason in particular. He chuckles, leaning closer to me. So is it just because of me then? That's definitely part of it. His hand goes to my thigh and I feel myself blush against his touch. So there is another reason. Well... He leans in fully and presses his muzzle against my neck, sniffing and licking me, and the warmth starts to spread from my neck over to my entire body. I'm happy because I'm not failing finance. He growls in acknowledgement, continuing to lick with more vigor. That's great. Happy for you, baby. I choke back giddily laughter, a stupid grin plastered over my blushing face. God, I love it when he calls me pet names. And we found another guitarist, so I'll be playing gigs again real soon. I patiently wait for more praise, but this time he just slowly pulls away to look at me. You're happy you found my replacement? Huh? What? Of course not. That's not why I'm happy. He looks away, annoyed. Right. Jacob, I'm serious. You know that if it were up to me, you'd still be in the band. You didn't even try to get me back in, Mylo. Says who? It's not my fault that they just don't like you. I'm sorry. It's fine. I really do wish that it was you instead. I know. He grabs my arm and pulls me towards his chest, and I sink into him completely. Just being there in his arms, feeling safe with him, isn't this enough? Isn't this all that I need? No, it's not all that I need. Baxter's words echo in my mind, something about not fighting for me, about not committing, about change. Jacob? Yeah? It's been a while now that you and I have been, well, this. Uh-huh. He sounds like he doesn't like where this is going, and that only makes me way more nervous. So, I was wondering if you think that you're ready now, you know, for us to be together. I bury my face in his chest, clutching onto the fur of his body. This isn't the first time that I've asked him this, so the question comes out easier than it did the first few times. Still, his silence is deafening and all too loud at the same time. Mylo. When he finally talks, I know what the answer is before he even says it, just by the way that he sighs my name. And it crushes me. You know that I am not ready for that. To be, you know, public. But couldn't we be together in secret? My voice comes out desperate, pleading in the way that I hate to hear myself, but at this point, I don't really care. I don't think it's a good idea either. Is it really that bad? No, not what I meant. So why? Why don't you want to even look at me when we're in public? I pull away from his embrace, feeling an anger start to bubble inside of me. What? I do look at you. Today when I was at the basketball court, I waved at you, but you completely ignored me. I just don't want the guys to think that we're a thing. What are we then, Jacob? What is this? Listen, I like you, Mylo. I really like you, and I like hanging out with you. But I can't be your boyfriend right now. I'm just not in that headspace, you know? To be with someone like that. It isn't because of you. I just don't think that I'm ready, that's all. The giddiness that I once had is nowhere to be found now, leaving behind an empty, depressing numbness in its place. Every time that I ask, it's always a no, because he's too busy, because he doesn't want to come out yet, or because he just can't. And every time, I always answer the same thing. Yeah, I understand. But the truth is I don't. I don't understand. Or maybe I don't want to understand. Maybe I'm too hurt to try and emphasize with him in these moments. Come on, don't be like that, Mylo. He grabs me again and pulls me in, his warm body pressing against mine. I like you, okay? And maybe one day in the future, I will be ready. Just give me some time. Time. How vague. That could mean anything, from minutes to years. Knowing Jacob, it's probably closer to the latter. We're here now, right? That's all that matters. He pulls me off of him and kisses me, and I close my eyes when he does. The blur that accompanies our encounter is much, much more prevalent tonight. I can feel him touching me, undressing me, kissing me in places no one has ever even looked at. I feel him put himself inside of me, and I hear his grunts and moans when he starts to move, the rhythmic sound of his thrusts echoing in the room. I feel the pleasure course through me from the base of my tail to the tip of my... But I am not here. Tonight the words of that cheetah swirl inside of my head over and over and over again. Don't you think that it's about time something changed? It's soon over. A sweaty, panting Jacob lays next to me on the bed, brushing the fur on my arm. It's sweet and soothing, and it almost lulls me to sleep. But I know better. I know that it's just a matter of time before he'll tell me to go, before he locks the door behind me, and I have to go home alone. I know that when I go home, and when I fall asleep, I'll wake up in the morning hoping time goes by quicker, and I can come see him again. I will wake up every day wishing the day was over. And I don't know how much longer that I can keep living like that. Hey. I think you should head home now. Good night. Good night, Jacob. See you tomorrow. He smiles at me, then closes the door, locking it, and just like that, the night is over. No man is waiting for me downstairs. No one is going to take me home. It's just me and the singing of the crickets accompanying me. The walk home is empty. No one is out now. Everyone is asleep, preparing themselves for the next day. Only I am out in the streets of this neighborhood. Jacob's last words to me tonight repeat in my head. See you tomorrow. Because it's a given, isn't it, that I'll be here tomorrow. That, just like every other night, I'll show up at this door, as eager as ever to give myself to him. I hate change. People become so different, so unrecognizable when they change. I wish people stayed the same, kept the status quo, never drifted apart. But if nothing ever changes, what is there to look forward to? How can I keep hoping for something to change and never do anything about it? My hands move on my own, taking my phone out of my pocket and looking through my texts. I have a couple of messages from Lizzie, something about if I got home safe and fake apologies for leaving me alone with Baxter. I ignore these. I open the text messages from a number that I don't have saved yet and read the string of texts that follows. Hey Russo, it's Bax. Remember me? Ha 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 ha. This is my number, so save it and stuff. Also, feel free to slap me if I get too weird again, lol. I can take a hit. Wink wink. Anyway, yeah, see you tomorrow. Before I can stop myself, I press the number and hit the call button, putting the phone up to my ear. What am I doing? The thought crosses my mind as I walk faster, letting the phone ring on, and of course he wouldn't answer. It's past midnight. He wouldn't. Hello? I stop walking. Hey. Hey, Russo. What's up? Pretty late for a chat. Is this a booty call? Hardly. How come you're up? Doing some studying for our project. Sounds of a video game gunshot can be heard in the background, and he knows that I can hear it. I'm taking a break. Right. So, you good? I'm in. In? Yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. By it, you mean the fake dating thing, right? Yes, Baxter, as opposed to the other it. I can hear him smile at the other end of the line. All right then, let's do it. Let's show him who we are without them. He tells me that we'll plan things out tomorrow. He hangs up the call. I continue to walk home. I look up at the night sky, stars being scarce, but the moon is as big and apparent as it always has been. And tonight, its crescent form holds the promise of something different. Tonight, it grins. And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So, I'm going to try to end each recording where each update ended before. So I ended it at the end of Act 1, I think. So yeah. So, going into this somewhat blind, knowing more or less what was supposed to happen, because it's in the synopsis of the visual novel page, I'm actually very surprised and very, in a good way, that I am actually very interested in what's going to happen. If it isn't obvious for anyone who is listening or who is reading along with me, because apparently some people do that, like, wow. It's kind of obvious that he was, or might still be, a little bit too into this Jacob guy. He's, like, towards all that beginning, he was very, like, he was viewing everything through rose-colored glasses, and he probably still is. Although he might be maybe pulling down those glasses a little and seeing that everything is not so rosy. I do like the premise of this guy who is very smitten for someone else who is clearly not that invested in their relationship, if you could even call it that. Just going up, just doing this, doing like the whole thing of like, you know what? I'm gonna make you see that you actually like me and that you actually want to be with me. And with this other guy who happens to be in the basketball team with you and who happens to not have any like really qualms with being out as bisexual. But I'm pretty sure that it's, well, not sure, but I'm confident that something's gonna happen where your feelings for Jacob are gonna transfer over to Baxter. So yeah, we'll see. I know that not everything goes the way that you think it's gonna go in this story, but yeah, I am delighted to continue reading this story because it has a good premise and a good setup. The setup being the first act. But yeah, also we will actually be able to hear some of the music that this guy writes. It is not available yet. Actually, it kind of is right here, but that would be spoilers. And I think that the creator of this visual novel actually sings the songs. So we have that to look forward to. Anyways, what else? Well, yeah, basically my first impressions of this visual novel so far based on the first act is very invested. So yeah. Anywho, I know that they have another visual novel that they wrote before this one, where it's a character who has to go back home to live with his dad. And I think they're still in high school. And when he does, I think it's a he, when he does, he finds out that one of his friends has run away from home. And he's like trying to figure out what exactly has been happening since he's been away. Because I guess he was living with his mother before this, or with somebody else. And he just, just literally moved back with the dad. And I guess it's like realizing that, your friends have changed, things have changed, stuff like that. Anyways, but yeah, so if this is any indication of their writing skills, prowess, whatever, then I may or may not pick up the other one too. Anywho, but yeah, so thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play What It Feels Like, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page. If not, then you could just go to itch.io.com and download it from there and, play it. And I don't know if they have any Patreon or anything of support yet. If they do, I will be linking that down in the description. If not, then just go to the itch.io page and tell them that you like the visual novel, I guess. But yeah, so all my other links, my Ko-fi and everything else down in the description. And I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.